video about my car again, because people, one, don't watch videos, people can't read, and people just have a shit ton of questions. This car, 2004 Honda S2000 AP2. So that means it has a 2.2 liter and it revs to 8, not 9. And then what body kit do I have on this car? I have a JRZ Racing Type GT Widebody. So I had a Powerhouse Amuse GT1 kit before. And the kit is this color underneath. It's the Lambo gray. I don't remember what color. I don't know if I'll look it up or not, but it was off of Luigi's car, so Limitless Motorsports down in California. So this kit has the carbon canards, carbon splitter. I made these end plates to cover up the hit and run damage from the other side. The carbon fender fences, carbon mirrors, carbon hood from Seibon, so that's a rep part. Hardtop is a rep. The Voltex wing is not a rep, it's a real Type 7 Swan neck. It's one of the first here on the West Coast, or maybe even the US, I don't remember. Seibon trunk, so it's OEM style because I wanted to run the K1 Labs wing. So the K1 Labs wing is a rep. So if you can't read, that's fine. Please listen. I'm not gonna go over these again. If you ask me these fucking questions, there's gonna be a video here. Anyways, moving on. Interior, I have the OMP steering wheel. It's a 320 with a Works-Belt short hub and a Works-Belt quick release. And then my driver's side is going to be a Recaro RS GE, and my passenger is going to be the Recaro pole position. If you're running pole positions in an S2000, there are only 2 rails that will fit, and I believe it's going to be the PCI and then the Buddy Club. Otherwise, the Bride rails, any of the other rails don't fit if you want to sit low. Some of the Recaro rails I think will possibly work as well, like the side mounts and stuff. And then for wheels, I have Advan GT. So they're the forged, they were the top of the line wheels from Advan before they came out with the RZDFs and the RSDFs, I think. So those wheels are also forged. So a lot of people look at these wheels and think, oh, they're not T37s or they're not C28s or Volk Z40s or whatever. But these are the same level equivalent of those wheels, but they're just, you know, more race styled wheels. So they're not really like your flashy show car wheels. So that's just an educational piece if you're into getting into cars and you don't really know much about it. And then suspension-wise, this car has JRZ RS Pro 2s, so that's going to be a 2-way or a 3-way? Oh man, I don't remember. Because they changed it into a 3-way, I think, for the RS Pro 3. Let me see here. RS Pro 2. Anyways, it's JRZ RS Pro, but the RS Pro 2, so it's a double adjustable. And then suspension-wise on this car, we have JRZ RS Pros. So they're going to be the RS Pro 2s because they are the second generation of the RS Pro. So I'm pretty sure there's an RS Pro 3 now. But anyways, they're double adjustable and they have an external reservoir that you can adjust. So you can adjust your compression and rebound. Basically, you know, you don't have to get under the car to adjust it. You can adjust it from the top of the strut, and then they have the external reservoir to adjust your other one. And then for other mods on the car, yeah, Craftsquare mirrors, you know, on the exterior. The exhaust is going to be a JRZ Racing 70RS. So the 70RS is a catback. It's not the header back. And what happened was I took the car to our favorite service center, so German Auto House out in Woodinville, and Dima had decided to, you know, I told him to cut it for me and then keep the Dolphin turn down tip, but instead when I got there he cut it off and then he made a straight pipe. So we kept the front resonator from the RX, but originally I wanted the turn down tip, but afterwards I actually kind of liked what he did instead. And then what else do we have here? So this car has a lot of stuff, a lot of money in places that you can't see. Let me see if I can pull up the build list right now. So this car, like I said, I didn't build all of it. And then let me see here. Okay, so if I pulled up the build list. So here we go. So then this car, all right, so we have an oil catch can from Recaro Motorsports out in Vancouver. And then we have a Mugen low temp thermostat. We have an air intake from Puffo. I don't know what, sure. We have a Type 1 grounding kit. We have an ASM subframe bar, and then we have the Hard Race front upper control arm, Hard Race rear roll center adjuster, and then the Hard Race roll center adjuster offset. What? So it's basically the roll center adjuster in the front as well. That you can adjust your camber a little bit more as well, because on the S2000 you can, on the stock, I think max out, you can only get like -2 degrees or 2.5. I did this on my old car, but I forgot which brand I had on my old car. And then we have the Hassport differential mounts, the PowerFlex 16-piece bushing kit, Spoon Sports subframe rigid collar kit, strut tower bar, lower damper bushing, and then the Spoon engine and transmission mounts. And then we have Type 1 Racing, so T1R front bump steer kit, rear tow arm, rear drive shaft spacers. And one of the drive shaft spacers one time blew up on me on one side, and I was doing one tire fire, and I thought my diff blew up, but I looked underneath and I could just see the axle was kind of hanging, and I was like, fuck. And it turned out to be the half axle shaft spacer. And then we have the Samco air intake induction pipe with a radiator hose, and then we have a Koyo radiator. And then we have a Recaro Koyo radiator kit, or not, the Recaro oil kit, oil cooler. So on this side, you'll see that the bumper doesn't mount, like it's not perfect fitment on the side because there's an oil cooler right here. And the oil cooler right here, kind of like, it hits the bottom of the splitter, so I kind of had to, you know, kind of adjust it so that they both fit. I didn't want to cut the splitter, but I'm probably gonna go back, oh, I'm gonna fall on my ass. I'm probably gonna go back and cut that splitter again. And then like I said, we have the Defi Advanced ZD Clubsport package. So basically what that is, it tells you your oil temperature, water temperature, oil pressure, your speed, which does not work. I don't think it works with the US cars because that shit's off. Like I'm going like 200 miles an hour or something. And then your RPM, and it also has a shift light as well. So we did have the Alcon. So it's a Rockstar Garage roll bar in the back. And then the Alcon that was on this car actually had a pad break on the inside, and the rotor wear was just absolutely crazy. Because I think it had pageant pads or something, race pads. And after one track day, it basically went through that shit, and the pad snapped, and I was piston on rotor, and you know, that's not good. And the rotor started leaking. So, end of story. I need to rebuild the Alcon calipers, or I might just move on to a different big brake kit. Because the Alcon maintenance parts on those are expensive. The rotors are $1,000 for a pair, but if you're running the right pads, not so aggressive pads, then your rotor should last you a good while. So that's why most people like to upgrade to BBK, because your wear parts, if you're tracking the car, you're gonna end up spending less money, because if you have, you know, if you're using rotors, the OEM stock or OEM sizing rotors and like the one piece, they tend to crack from, you know, basically heating and cooling down too much, and they basically crack. And then your pad wear is also significantly more as well. So we have the Schroth harnesses, the 6-point harnesses. So on the driver's side, we have the Hans. So the Hans is going to be the safety equipment, basically. Oh God, my wording, I can't talk today. So the Hans device is basically a neck brace that connects to your helmet. And so the harness itself is going to be a little thinner on the top to accommodate for that Hans device. And then the rest of this was actually not on there yet, because you know, the supercharger and injectors and stuff. But this car has XD. It's a stage 1 hyper single, and then we have a JRZ Racing distance collar. Huh, I didn't know that. And then we have the M Factory 4.57 final gear. So the stock S2000 is 410, I think. So you can either go 4.4, 4.57, or 4.77. So 4.77 is going to be super short, because right now at 70-ish, I'm about 4,000 RPM, I think. And then the 2-way LSD, also from M Factory. And then, like I said, JRZ Racing Type GT Widebody and the Craftsquare mirrors. So the mod list for this car, you know, previous just parts alone, like including all the old, including all the old parts, there was 28,000 for just parts alone. And then for this car, labor and paint and stuff when it was white was 9,000. And then after that, this kit I got for $4,000. Random Seattle shit. I don't know if you saw that person just riding their bike. And most people don't see that I'm talking to a fucking camera, which fucking bugs the shit out of me. You have eyes and you don't use it. I'm an asshole. You guys know that. But going back onto that, so yeah, 28,000 for parts for this car before it was this way, and then 9,000 for paints and labor, and then I got a sponsor price from Emwraps, but the wrap itself would have been about $3,000. So $3,000 plus the kit, which is like $4,000, and then plus wheels, and then plus all my old stuff. So yeah, about 50 grand deep into the car. The car itself was, I believe, 18 GPW. And I want new wheels, I want a new BBK, I want to paint the car, I want a full cage, I want a supercharger. And well, besides painting the car, I want to strip the car down completely to the bare shell and redo it, because watching all the story times, I just want to do it, man. I want to be able to know every single part on the car. So yeah, there's a lot of money in this car, and it's slow, but I love this car. So, you know, you see me drive it every day. It's been 5 years, going on 5 years now, and I'm still not tired of it. So that's that, man. That's a, you never, actually, let me make this a challenge out to other people. I want to know how much people have spent into their cars. So call out your favorite YouTubers or whoever, and we'll make people sit down and count how much money they've dumped into their cars, because that's the worst thing. That's the one thing nobody ever wants to do, because you look back at it, you're looking at like, shit, I have a $60,000, $70,000 fucking S2000, you know, I could have had something else, right? But I don't regret it. All the money that goes into it, I don't regret. I love the car, I enjoy driving the car. I just can't get away from the S2000, because I think if I didn't have an S2000, I would hate life. So even if I had like a supercar or something and I didn't have an S2000, no thanks. Yeah, I guess we'll see you guys in the next video, and buy an S2000.